Welcome everyone to my channel. I am an emergency room physician, and every single shift I see the tragic end of unhealthy lifestyles. I see strokes, heart attack, diabetes crisis. However, there's so much that we can do to prevent these diseases. I'm a female, I am 58 at the time of this recording, and I know now that whatever I'm doing now is different from what I did when I was much younger. Yes, I was obese all my life. I lost most of my weight in my late 40s and I'm able to keep it off. Hi there, everyone. My name is Dr. Inaka Yembe. I'm a family medicine physician working full time in the emergency room. I'm a huge advocate of women's health. My past life, so 16 years ago, I was overweight, over 300 pounds. I have struggled and I have learned what it takes for us women to get healthy. So if you're watching this video and you're struggling with your weight, keep watching. There is a metabolic shift that we need to be aware of in order for things to work. So today we're going to change some instructions on how you can best work with the hormones that you have at this age. You see, back in the 30s, you had some hormones. If you hadn't had a hysterectomy and your ovaries were working, you had hormones that acted as a protective shield. However, right now, those hormones are gone away, and so it's not a matter of willpower anymore. There are several main players in your metabolic health, in the way that you feel and in the way that your body reacts to what you eat. The very first one is estrogen. As we get older, past the age of 35, our estrogen levels, that's the female hormone, estrogen, it starts to decline. At that time, a few things happen. Estrogen tells your body to store fat in your hips and your thighs. However, now that you're older, you will preferentially store fat in the belly area. That's the way that you notice that we're struggling more, is that we have this waistline that's a little bit more difficult to control now. That one is because of declining estrogen as we age. The second hormone that comes into huge play here is insulin. Now that the estrogen is lower, our body cells become a little bit numb or less responsive to insulin. So what that simply means in real life is if you ate a bagel at the age of 30s, it worked differently when it got into your body. Now that you're 50 and older, so 35 and older, you're more insulin resistant. So that simply means that when you eat that same bagel, it's going to spike your blood sugar levels and it's going to trigger fat storage. Very important that we change things. The third hormone that comes into play here is cortisol. Menopause is a stressful thing for most of us. As we now try to get healthy, sometimes we can make the stress on our bodies a little bit more. We're eating so little, almost starving ourselves, that's stressful. We're doing so much exercise, cardio, walking around 1 hour, 2 hours in order to lose fat. That gets hard on our bodies. So stress on its own is going to increase a hormone, the stress hormone called cortisol. That hormone is also responsible for storing more belly fat. Now, another thing that happens, number 4 hormone that comes in play is ghrelin. This is a hunger hormone. That one is balanced while we are asleep. Most of us tend to really shortchange ourselves on sleep. We have so much going on now, we're not sleeping enough. One of the things that happens if you don't sleep enough, ghrelin, the hunger hormone, its levels are going to be higher, so you're going to really become more chemically hungry. So you find yourself wanting to snack all the time. The next one here is really just a thief. So estrogen levels decline, yes, and with that, our muscle mass will naturally decline. By the time we get to the age of 50, I'm 58 now, by the time we get to 50, we have been losing muscle mass for about 10 to 15 years or even longer for some women. Muscle is your metabolic engine, and so you lose muscle, it simply means that we can no longer eat the same amount of food like we used to when we were younger. So here's the strategy. We need to think about all these hormone changes, and we can craft our nutrition in order to combat the hormonal changes that naturally happen in our bodies as we grow older. So me, I look at my kitchen as my pharmacy. My number one most powerful ingredient is protein. Yes, you've heard the story about protein. Protein is king. How much protein do we need to consume? 1 gram of protein per pound of our ideal body weight. So the way I look at it and what I tell my coaching clients is to simply go to a BMI chart, go to your height and look for a weight. There will be a weight range there. Pick one and eat 1 gram per pound of your ideal body weight. A very simple way to look at it is to make sure that you have 30 to 40 grams of protein at every single meal. And towards the end of this program, I'll give you some practical examples there. What's the science? Number one, protein triggers glucagon. That's another hormone to burn fat. It also suppresses ghrelin, so it makes us feel full all the time. It helps us build muscle. Remember, muscle is your metabolic energy. So protein is very important at every single meal. In fact, when I'm coaching in the clinic, we have a simple sheet here. We draw a circle, put the protein down on your plate first. That's the very first thing before you add anything else. Think protein for your meals and your snacks. Always protein first. The second big ingredient, now that we're in the kitchen, we're looking for solutions, is fiber. You really want to shoot for 25 to 30 grams of fiber all the time. Fiber comes in and acts like a cleaning crew. It helps cleanse our liver, it helps cleanse excess hormones, and it actually keeps your insulin levels steady. Fiber also helps you feel full longer. So eating protein and vegetables, a large variety of vegetables, and fruit in a small amount will really help you. I really was on the struggle bus with weight loss at a certain point in my life when I weighed over 300 pounds. And I just simply thought that eating chicken breast and salad was the best thing for me. No, let's not do that. You need all food groups. You need protein. First, protein is king. You need fiber, so eat a variety of vegetables, all the colors. You need some heavier starches, but the healthy ones, so sweet potatoes, things like plantains if you're African, the Irish potatoes, corn. Eat them in limited amounts, not huge amounts. Brown rice, quinoa, all of those work well for healthy carbohydrates. You also need some healthy fats, so things like avocado and nuts, and healthy oils, or the healthy ones are things like the olive oil, the avocado oil, coconut oil. Those really help you. So we need to really include, don't really shortchange yourself, don't try to starve. That's going to take you nowhere. It's not sustainable, and you will not be able to lose weight if your body is stressed out from starvation. All right, let's go into another thing here that we do when we try to lose weight. We start to exercise. Now, if I could write a prescription for every female above the age of 35 on what kind of exercise you need to do, I'm going to be telling you to do resistance exercises. Yes, I am a bodybuilder now for the past 4.5 years. I just find out that it's the best way for me to control my weight is to build some muscle, some healthy muscle. So when we're in our 30s, you could get away with, say, walking or actually running, jogging. In my previous life, I used to be a marathon runner. I was an obese marathoner. My weight range was in the 240s to 260s, never changed even though I was a marathoner. However, now that you're older, we really want to create a metabolic real estate. You want to reverse these changes that the declining estrogen is causing in your body. Best thing to do is to build muscle. No, you're not going to become a bodybuilder, but you need to do the resistance exercises using your body weight, and I'll talk about that in another video, using dumbbells, barbells, resistance bands, whatever you can use to do resistance exercises. at least 2 to 3 times a week. Yes, cardiovascular exercises help, but we want to shrink those. So what I do practically, I'll go to the gym and I'll work out for about 45 minutes doing weights, and then the last 15-20 minutes I'll get on the treadmill and walk on a steep incline, so incline of 10 to 15, and I will be walking at a speed of 2.5 to 3. That's just the best way for me to preserve my muscle while I'm walking and burn some fat. So very, very important there. Now, let's talk about other lifestyle things that are important. You've heard about sleep. Sleep is really one of the best ways for your body to recover, for your brain to recover. I've actually learned that when you don't sleep enough, your brain doesn't cleanse and restore itself, and you can become more forgetful as you age. Sleep is very important to balance your hunger and your satiety hormones. Sleep is that time when your muscles that you have broken down when you were working out, now they rebuild themselves and they get a little bit stronger. Poor sleep is going to cause your cortisol, that stress hormone, to spike the next day. And then you're going to be storing more belly fat. So at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep every day, or as best you can. Work on it. We are not going to get that healthy if we are shortchanging ourselves on sleep all the time. I cannot end this video without talking about just simple movement. Most of us feel that when we go to the gym and exercise for that 1 hour, that's it. I'm an active person and I come home and sit down or sit at my desk and don't move. No, it's important for you to move even out of a structured exercise. That is actually called NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. All the movement that you do outside of exercise. So simply park far away from the entrance, move your body as often as you can. If you have to work at a desk, you want to conscientiously get up from that desk at least every hour or every 2 hours. Walk to the bathroom and back. If you're home sitting on the couch during commercials, get up, go to the refrigerator, get some water. Make it a habit of moving all the time. Our bodies are meant to move. In fact, if you come home from exercise and you don't do any movement the rest of the day, you can actually erase the effects of the good work that you did at the gym. All right, the next thing I'll talk about here is really the hormone replacement therapy. Hormone replacement therapy is not a weight loss pill. I see that mistake in my weight loss clinic all the time. Women come in, they say, I'm taking hormones and I'm not sure while I'm not losing weight. No, it's not a guarantee. These hormones are really, really approved to help with the symptoms. So very important. Yes, it can sometimes help with insulin sensitivity. It can actually help with redistributing the belly fat back from your belly into your thighs, but it's not a prescription for weight loss though. So if you take hormone replacement therapy and eat just anything, no, it's not going to help. That medicine is not going to help you lose weight. It's really meant for the symptoms of menopause. So speak to your doctor about that one. Every day I see in the emergency room these end results of the effects of poor lifestyle, of poor dietary habits, of really things that we can take for granted, the things that we take for granted, and then we're faced with emergencies. If you're watching this video, please take action, because only action changes things. Don't fight your body though. You need to work with your body, and if you're struggling, come to my program. I have some links at the bottom of this video here where you can find me, because I coach online and I coach in person in the clinic. So no, you are not crazy, and no, your willpower is not weak. You just need to learn how, what to eat, and when. I hope this information helped you. If it did, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and share this video with another person who needs to. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.